sleep. Hi. Hello. And welcome to this channel. Hi. No. Oh, I don't have any cards. I don't have no nothing. Okay. Well, today what we're going to do is there are two things. First of all, last night, for some reason, maybe I was still kind of thinking about the last live in a way. I got my iPad because I've been hearing a lot about an Aries stellium. And oh wow, Mercury is conjuncting Pallas Athena today in Pisces. Interesting. And it's like a degree away. Maybe that's why I'm having a Mercury return right now. And it seems like there's like all this communication, apparently, and stuff like all of a sudden starting to move. Anyway. What's all in Aries? So we got Mars in Aries at 1 degree, Neptune at Aries at 2 degrees, Saturn in Aries at 6 degrees, the Sun in Aries at 22 degrees, Chiron at 26, and Eris at 25. So the Sun, Neptune, Saturn, and Mars are all in Aries. Venus is in Taurus. Interesting. 15 degrees. Uranus is in Taurus, 29 degrees. Jupiter is in Cancer at 26 degrees. Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius. The Moon is in Aquarius. Pluto's in Aquarius. That's a whole. So Leo, Virgo has the South Node, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn. Besides like a node and Black Moon Lilith, they're like empty. So everything is like Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and then Jupiter is in Cancer. So the end and the beginning of the zodiac. Anyway, I was just like, oh, because like the Emperor has been coming out a lot, right? And it's also interesting that there's been the archetype of the loving father and the man holding a heart that's been coming out too. So, hey, anyway. Maybe it's a new emperor. And then, so last night, I had this like free will came to my mind, but like WHEEL. Because, there's like the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to, I don't know, pick a wheel. Because I have the Witch's Tarot has the Wheel of the Year. The SKT, I think it's just the wheel. The Wheel of Fortune is your standard. And I think there was like another wheel, right? And I think it was with the last one when it was like, maybe, was the last one the shaman? No, the last one was after the shaman. There was something about, because the shaman was with the trickstery type one, the last one was like very fundamentals. And it's like keeping track of the fundamentals as we're doing advanced theories and applications so that it's almost like to smooth out edges and to fill gaps to keep us on course, right? More so to fill in gaps, right? And it's to fill in the gaps that can be filled. Because again, it was important to know what we know and what we don't know. And sometimes if we forget the basics, or sometimes when we've been away from the basics and the fundamentals for so long, we forget some of the stuff that we know. Or like if we tap back into the fundamentals and foundations, we can get kind of like extrapolate maybe and apply those in a way to fill certain gaps. And it's just like if it's a liquid, right? Oh, that's so interesting because We had nutrients, shadow nutrients, gutton, and new life. No, leaf shade merge B, and it was like something was shredding to make way for light, right? But it's very similar. It plugs holes that don't necessarily need to be there so that the whatever stays in the system long enough for it to go where it needs to go. So it's almost like if you have a tube and you have something that needs to be watered. I don't know how irrigation works. I'm pretty sure this is not how it works. If Pocopia has taught me anything, it's that that's pretty much not how it works. I didn't think Pocopia would teach me about irrigation necessarily, but when you have water running next to the farm plot, sometimes it waters it. It moisturizes the soil and the ground around it. Anyway, which would make sense because of, osmosis. Anyway, it's like if you have too many holes in the hose, then you won't have enough water to go to like water everything or to go where you need it to go, right? Anyway, so free will popped into my mind, but like wheel, WHEEL, because there's like the wheel of fortune almost. And again, in that dichotomy question mark of things that we can't control and things that we can. Or it's like there's things that we can control, things that we can't control, and then things that we can influence. Or maybe within the sphere of things that we can't control, there's a subset or subsection that is things that we can influence, even if we can't control it, right? So, for example, we don't control whether a seed grows or not grows, but we can influence its growth by watering the soil and giving it the nutrients that it needs, right? Or like, yeah. So, because it was almost like even if the big wheel is doing whatever with your free will in your life, you can do whatever. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But, and then I was thinking about, I saw some number today and um, I was like, oh, I kind of want to do something with that. And so I was going to have Siri pick a random number between 1 and 9. Or actually, let's do it. Hmm, where's my phone? Here it is. Actually, I have a D10. I can just roll a D10. So I'm going to roll a D10. The first one is going to be the number of digits in the number. The second, and then every roll after that will be its place in that sort of number, right? And I wanted to do it where like you can make nines. Nines are almost sort of like absolute, right? But anything else, if you can add something up to a nine, then you can collapse it. Right. And then maybe threes and sixes are special. I want the right D10. Ooh, 17. I feel like we've been seeing the star a lot lately too. There we go. What's that? I don't know why that song just popped into my mind. Oh, I need to charge my phone. That heaven must be missing an angel. I feel like I've only seen it in commercials. Heaven. Okay. I'm drinking a Cloud 9. matcha latte from Seven Brew today. They sent coupons in the mail, and it was 50% off. So it was like $3. Wait, I was like, anyway, okay, yeah, and then we'll see, because so essentially, am I gonna pull cards? What deck am I gonna use? Which one has like the freest wheel? And I don't even know what a minor arcana or a pre Wheel of Fortune would be. But in a way of things that we can shift, you could say the knights in general. I mean, because there is a certain like 7, 8 of Pentacles aspect to it. Maybe the twos, more so the two of, well, yeah, I guess all of them, right? The Two of Swords is the deliberation or the decision. The Two of Pentacles is like weighing options. The Two of Wands is like taking that step, and then the Two of Cups is meeting the outcome. So we got the twos, the knights, the 7 and the 8 of coins. It's fine. I don't know what I'm doing in most of these anymore. Apparently, I'm making up for lost time. And maybe that in and of itself is like kind of indicative of something. It just feels like something is coming to a head. Meaning, like one thing is almost concluding, and it's also simultaneously like crowning and birthing into coming into a new space. So, two, I was like, what if I only get like 1 or 2 digits? See, this is why I wanted to ask. We'll do both. We'll do both. The first digit is 3, and the second digit is 1. So 31. You can't do anything with 31. Like the benefit of having a large number is like you have more opportunities to collapse something. 231. I kind of want to do it anyway. But I don't know. I'll go with 6 digits. Because I didn't know like if I wanted to do 6 digits or 9 digits. I kind of like the principle of nines. So let's do 9. What's 9 digits? 100 million? Because 3 is 100. 6 is 1,000. So yeah, 9 is million. Now, yeah, 999,999,999. Hey Siri, as I hold my Android phone, I don't know if my iPad heard me. Hey Google, choose a random number between 0 and 999,999,999.
472,391,085.
Thank you. Something I can work with. 47239. Oops. 472-391-085. 472-391-085. 472-391-085. I'm going to put this in the title. Well, I'll just send it here. It's fine for now. So what is interesting is, though, 3 plus 1 is 4, and we start with a 4. Also, what's more interesting is the 9 and the 391. So in the thousands place, 391,000. That's actually more interesting to me than the 472. I kind of love this. I love it. I love it. I'm loving it. So, for anyone that's been watching these lately, kudos to you because I feel like we've been extra unfocused. So, how the numbers move. As I was thinking about it, you can only move a number up, you can't move it back, right? So, the 472, the 2 would move up to the 7, and then you would put a 0 where the 2 is. So, I'll do it like this 4, 9. Wait, and then you can move the 5 at the end. We'll do it in steps. 490391085. Right? So you would have to add 3 to 6. Oh, and then there's the 1 and the 8. We actually get all nines. So if I had to go 49318, so it will be 490399005. The 8 would move up to a 1. And then it would be 990399000. The 5 would move up to the 4. 4 nines is 36. Not that I'm necessarily reading it that way. Cool. Now, what do we do with that? Okay. Give me a second. My brain is working. We are in the point of active collaboration. As if that isn't most of everything I do. If that's the sort of definition we're going for. Create new note. So there is if we build it up, right, there's the body, the mind, and the spirit. We'll do spirit. And then I wish I could have given this a little bit more thought. Body. This would actually be 3 dimensions and not just 2. So from ones, tens, hundreds, because that's all of them, right? There's the 1 that is the 1, the 1,000, the million. The 10, 10,000, 10 million. And then the 100, 100,000, 100 million, right? So the ones place is the body. Actually, yeah. The tens place is the mind, and the hundreds is the spirit. And if we also break it down by 3, each 3, then we have. So when I write it down, I'm actually going to write it in reverse. How am I going to do this? I think I can change the color. I can change the color. Okay. So we'll go through the rainbow. So red will be 472391085. Let's just do these 3. I feel like my brain is like the limiting. So one's place is going to be red. Body blue is going to be the tens place. Mind. Green is going to be the hundreds place. Spirit. So we have 4, 7, 2, comma. Well, this is a green comma. 391. 391 blue comma 085 085. And then Next, it's 490. 490. 391 again. 391. Oh crap, I didn't do a green comma or a blue comma. I messed the commas up. Boom. Easy. That's a blue comma, that's a green comma. 085. 085. So I do it from left to right. Right. I do it from left to right, and then I add the number on the right to the number on the left, and I replace the number on the right with the 0. Right. So that's why 472, like 7 was open, the 2 completed the 7. And then the 8 completed the 1, and then the 5 completed the 4. So that's how I went down all of these. I guess I could do it here, and I don't necessarily have to look at the thing, right? The 1 completes the 8, so 4, 9, 0, green comma, oops, 3, 9, 9, blue comma, 0, 0, 5, and then 4. No, this is 9 now because the 5 completes the 4. 9, 9, 0, green comma, 3, 9, 9, blue comma, 0, 0, 0. There we go. So if you want to follow along, that's what it looks like. So we've worked everything out of the sub thousands. So everything's worked up and out of the 3D. I mean, for simplicity, for oversimplification, for a gross simplification. We still have a 3 in the spirit of the mind. And then 9s in the mind of the mind, the body of the mind, the spirit of the spirit, and the mind of the spirit. I also like, let's add these up, right? So all of the green ones, we'll do red first. There's 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. Plus 20, because it's 1199. So 35 plus 2 is 37. 37 red. Well, let's do it on the side. 37. Now the blues. There's 8 plus 8, 9999, 7999. So let's do the nines first. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, 7 nines, which is 63. 63 plus 7 is 70. 70 plus 16 is 86. Right? 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 70, 78, 86. And the green ones 4449, 333, 3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. There was never a spirit in the body. That's the only thing that The only zero we had at first. And I also love, I think we get all the numbers except for six, right? One, two, three, four, five, no six, seven, eight, nine. Instead of a six, we got the zero. Love how that worked out. Anyway, so 4, 8, 12, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, right? So every three threes is a nine. So that's a 2, 9, 18, 21, 25, 29, 33, right? 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12, which is 24 plus 9 is 33. I love that we get three fours and four threes because that speaks to that property of addition. That I was like, it's kind of interesting. Like 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3. And that happened in the spirit, by the way. Okay. So that's this. But now, if I do it this way and I need another color, maybe I'll just use the highlighter. Laser pointer? What? Oh, it's a rainbow. Love it. Oh, it went away. No. It's fine. No, I'm going to add it like straight down. How am I do this? 15, 16, 0, 20. 4 nines is 36. Okay. This is getting a little tight. 4 threes is 12. 2. 3 nines is 27 plus 7 is 34. 12 plus 9 is 21. 21, 34, 2, 12, 36, 20, 0, 16, 15. What am I doing today? I wish I could just title just like a throwaway, not throwaway. I'm just running with it. This straw is so bendy. It's like a lavender matcha. It's actually, it tastes better with whole milk than it does oat milk. I think oat milk, it may just need to like be stirred more though. So this is where we sit now. So I've both added all of the greens, all of the reds, and all of the blues here, and I added like each column here. And I guess we can do a little uh reduction, right? So 15 is 6, 16 is 7, 0 is 0, 20 is 2, 36 is 9, 12 is 3, 2 is 2, 34 is 7, 21 is 3. Now, if I were to do this again, and I'll do it in a different color. Yeah, let's do yellow, but make it kind of opaque. Oops. Yes. It would be the 6 will complete this 3, so 9. 9. Hold up. Because the 2 would complete this 7, but this 7 would complete this 2. 9, 9, 0. The reason why I put zeros in it the way I do is because the zeros are like a knot, and you can't get past the knot. Wait. If you can't get past the knot, then this would have stopped at 490391085. You because the 5 would have to pass two zeros to get to the 4, but the 8 would have to pass that 0 to get to the 1. See, this is something that I could have did before I went live to actually like figure it out, but it's fine. Maybe I'll timestamp when we actually start doing something. So 3720 999000. Okay. Anyway. Now what I was gonna do was, and I can still do it, like pull cards. What deck do I want to use? Do I want to use two different decks? I could use. See, the thing about the SKT is one edition is sepia toned, another edition is in full color, and it's easy because of the progression of video to go from black and white to sepia to color, and also with the production of the like each production run of the deck. The first that I don't have, sadly, is black and white. The second one was sepia. The third one was in full color. So like, or would I do it the other way? Anyway, okay. I was kind of leaning towards the SKT because I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be different versions of the same deck either. Let's just do what's easy. The SKT is kind of dense though, in a way that I obviously love. Dense in a way, it's fine. Now, if I had four decks, is that what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this first, this last. So I need two in between. Too bad I don't have the Tarot of the Abyss anymore. I'm pretty sure I gifted that one to Rob because it's like black and white. So I can get one like black and white, sepia, maybe a grayscale, and then a full color. Anyway, it's fine. Okay, okay. I could just go for what's in here. Do I have what tarot do I have in here though? I'm not using the deck of heroes. What is this? Oh, the Stranger Things tarot. I ain't use that in a minute. I want to use something I'm more familiar with because I'm already free falling. I do have the Wild Unknown and the Witch's Tarot. Why not? I have like this pocket Witch's Tarot, and I have like my OG Witch's Tarot. By OG, I mean I got it off of Wish. Woo! I got my Energy Oracle cards off of Wish too. I think the legit ones are like a lot bigger. And then I have this teensy weensy, the tiny Universal Way Tarot. We're obviously not using that. Now this is like both black and white and color, so this can go second. So I need another one to bridge. Maybe I'll use the Astro Matrix. I wouldn't mind necessarily a Rider Waite. could do the line strainer, but I'm not as familiar with that. Astro Matrix. Yeah, let's just do this. Okay. So every 9 is going to stay the same. Every 0 will be the bottom of the corresponding deck. So basically, the first line will be, we'll do SKT2, SKT2, and then Wada known WU, and then Astro Matrix, which is just an A. Astro Matrix is one word, and then SKT3. I know the highlighter is super chunky and you can't really tell, but that's where we are now. Okay. So now let's pull all the cards, I guess. And it's funny because I wanted to do something like this before, but I didn't. Something like this in terms of like connecting one thing to another. So actually, I'm going to give it 3 shuffles. I wanted to treat the 3s and the 6s special, but I don't know. That's more advanced, and I don't know how I would do that quite yet. Now, what I could do is if I wanted to modify this, then they could change in turn. So then that'd be 990999000. But I think how I would want to do it, and I'm going to erase this. How I would want to do it is part of me is like on the turn that they become a 0, or on the turn they become a 9, write it as a 9, and then after that it's a 0. So for the 3, it would be every 3 times every 3 times it appears. For the 6, it would be every 3 times it appears. Right? Because 3, 6, 9, 6, 12, 18. Interesting. So what? 3s are 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. And 6s are 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9. Because it's 6, 12, 18, 24, which is a 6, 30, 36. And so they almost move independent to one another. That's advanced. We'll just stick with the simple whatever. Because I don't know if they would keep cycling or if again, because when I first thought about it, I wanted to like have it as a 9 when it becomes a 9 and then just 0 it for every other thing. And I feel like there's something about it like culminating and then closing out. They would only have a sort of permanence as a 9 if you see both a 3 and a 6. Anyway, it's fine. Girl, come on, come on, come on. Come on. And I need to do stuff today. So, like I said, I don't know if I told y'all, but I don't think I did. It's fine. Ooh, we got a smooth flip. And the title card. Okay. The title card and the 9 of Swords. The title card came out first. It's like literally fear or anxiety around the unknown. Or around the unknowable. Because title card gives more unknowable than the 2 of Swords or the High Priestess would give unknown. Or the Moon would give unknown. Not yet seen. So 1, 2, 3. I'll just put them down. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're starting with the Magician, starting strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the Chariot, 7 for 7. 1, 2. How am I going to treat zeros? Are zeros going to come from the bottom of the deck? Sure. 1, 2, 3. Or are they going to remain blank? A 12 for the 3, which is a 3. Love it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 0. I'll put the bottom of the deck face down as a placeholder. And 5. No, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6. Wait. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Bottom of the deck was the 6 of Wands, the champion. Maybe I should have kept it. Yeah, I'll keep it. I don't know why I'm going to give it a shuffle after, but that's what we're doing apparently. How do you say apparently in Spanish? Lee is mente. Apparentmente? Apparentmente? I don't know. Okay. So we have the Magician. So for the number 472391085, the first row, we have the Magician, the Chariot, the Ivory Shield as the first triad, the triad of the Spirit, the Outlaw, which is the Hangman, the Page of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles as the Mind, and then the Nine of Cups and the Seven of Cups as the body. Which again, there's no spirit in the body as we start, right? But in the body, we have opportunity and desire. No, that's the 10 of Cups. I thought it was the 9 of Cups. That's the 10 of Cups. Fulfillment and opportunity. If the 7 of Cups is like opportunities or options, right? Also, the High Priestess in this deck is my BTFU, STFU, Mind Your Business card. She stands at the gateway of all that is sacred and holy, basically. And so it's interesting that in the body of the spirit, we see her and there's no spirit in the body. It was a 0. right? And if we take the mind to be this almost, I don't know why battleground is the word that popped into my mind, but if we take the mind, I mean, I guess it can be. If we take the mind to be this middle ground between the body and the spirit, then we have the hanged man, the outlaw in the spirit, and the giver, the six of pentacles in the body, with the page of cups sitting in between them. So in the mind of the mind, we have the page of cups. The page is an emissary, right? So we see the queen of cups and the page of cups. We see the ivory shield and the stronghold of the grail. Almost like the mind trying to convince the spirit. It's like the body is giving something. The mind stands positioned to try to convince the spirit of something. And then the body of the spirit is like, maybe. Okay. So let's see how this transforms and unfolds. I almost want to do the last one next and then fill it in between, but let's not jump ahead. Right. Also, I love that, like, because we don't have any duplicate numbers, everything collapses to a nine, besides the three, besides the one number that doesn't have its component. Everything collapses to a nine. If we had duplicates, we'd have a lot more numbers that aren't nine here. So that in and of itself, again, it's interesting. I haven't done this enough to know what it means, but it's just like, again, maybe it's in the energy of like how the we've been seeing the emperor. Let's see. I am gonna timestamp this back like 7 minutes because I don't know why I thought I would just like pull all the cards and then start talking. That's why I usually timestamp when I start pulling the cards. Intro slash ramble slash setup 0000 pulling like 40. Okay. So what was I saying? Maybe because of, again, the emperor, the loving man, the free will, how we have the power to shift things in our own lives, even if things external to us may be beyond our control. Not necessarily beyond our influence, but beyond our control. And again, beyond our, we can influence the world in a positive way just by being a kind and generous person. Just like we can influence the world in a not so positive way if we catch an attitude with everybody and we ruin everyone's day. Now, everybody that we've come across in that day is in a sour, dour mood. And then they go home to their families and maybe they spread that sour, dour mood to their family and it just trickles down. Everybody's having a bad day because one person who came in contact with 20 people infected 18, 17, 16 of them with their attitude. They went home and affected their families and their pets and their whoever. Be they both, the ones in their house. Anyway, like you get it. But the converse is also true, right? Sometimes you can put somebody in a good mood. Like your day, your a good day is not as contagious, maybe necessarily. A good day can be as contagious as a bad day, right? You can lift somebody's mood and then they're in a good mood, and because they're in a good mood, again, it can spread. So again, not beyond, like beyond our control, yes, but not necessarily beyond our influence. And influence may be a strong word. Impact may be a better word. Or there's the sphere of influence, and then there's the sphere of impact, and then right there are spheres within the sphere. Anyway, so looking at the spirit of everything, we have the magician, the hanged man, and nothing. Just the magician and the hanged man. And again, the magician and the hanged man, it would make sense that there's nothing left because it's all stalled at the hangman. Or it hasn't arrived yet. In the mind of everything, we have the Chariot, the Page of Cups, and the Ten of Cups, which is amazing. In the body of everything, we have the Queen of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, and the Seven of Cups, which is, with the Queen of Cups being that pre-high priestess energy, and also with the Queen of Cups also being the nurturer, and with the reciprocity of especially this Six of Pentacles, because we see the scales, it's like this balance between like what the Queen of Cups is giving time, energy, effort, and attention to, and what someone's environment may be bringing to their awareness. So it's like balancing attention and awareness in the body. Cool. Next deck is this one. Wanna know. Again, the nines stand, which is why I need my reminder. I should have done it different. It would have made more sense if I went to like smaller and smaller cards as I lay these on top of another one. But essentially, every new cycle through here is. Look, there's a butterfly again. I've been seeing a lot of butterflies lately. The Eight of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. And see, this almost gives me the Magician and the Hangman. Because, like, there's that bolt of inspiration that comes down, the rainbow, in the Eight of Wands. But in the Two of Pentacles, here, it's like it's tied up in the thing. And so it can't go anywhere as it's sort of in this loop. Now, it's also interesting because the Two of Pentacles was part of the twos, which was part of the free will, right? The Two of Pentacles was the point of pros and cons, right? The Two of Swords was like there's a certain deliberative energy, but it's more theoretical and mental. At the Two of Pentacles, we're like actually sort of thinking about how it affect and impact us, our lives, and those around us, right? In real ways. The Two of Wands is the decision, the Two of Cups is the outcome. I could pull before and after all the twos, actually. Because in a minor arcana way, then I guess the knights would be like pre Wheel of Fortune. Like the whole suit of knights would be pre Wheel of Fortune, or the whole class of knights, not suit. And then the class of twos would be minor Wheel of Fortune, like all together. Okay. And a cut. So, I mean, I have the number there too, but I like the colors. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the Seven of Swords on top of the Magician. The Seven of Swords, especially in this deck, is my card of birthright. And it's funny that the Seven of Swords in this deck was my card of birthright before I got the SKT, before I saw the Fox as the guardian that sits next to the gateway to initiation. And when we go down that path, the companion wakes up. Basically, when we go down that path, the Fox reveals the seventh sword, which could be the sword of the magician, right? Because the magician has I mean, we see the magician here. The magician's sword. Interesting. That was 7, or that was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the Two of Wands. There's the other one. This is the decision. When you go down the path, that's when the guardian, the companion, awakens. And it's literally these two cards. Cool. I also love. Oh, wait, never mind. This is a 0 now. So because this is a 0 now, I will pull the bottom. This is where I get confused. We'll put the bottom face down. And then we'll figure out. I think this one I wouldn't mind revealing. This is a 0, a knot that happens because of translocation, right? But I'm like, would this be the bottom of this deck or the bottom of the deck that came before? I'm going to reveal it this time because it's the first time we see the 0. But every other time, I'll just pull the bottom. And it's strength. This is an 11 strength. Right? We've been seeing a lot of 8 strengths. No. I think that was a. Yeah, that was an 11 strength in the Spencer's Tarot, but it was in reverse. It was the Manticore in reverse. Okay. Having the strength to walk that path. Cool. Love it. 3, 1, 2, 3. 2 of Cups. The outcome. So we see the decision, strength, and then the outcome. Love it. The 9 is here. But because in the SKT, specific, all pages are messengers, but in the SKT specifically, you see a depiction of the message they come with. It's the letter. And because the letter is here, where usually I would just let the 9 stand as is throughout the entirety of everything, but because it comes out with a letter, I want to say that we should see what it is. So that's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's the sun. We go from strength to the sun. We see Leo twice, Leo and its ruler. And then 1, 0, 8, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bottom of the deck is the 2 of Pentacles. I cut this to the 2 of Pentacles at the bottom. And it's so funny because, so after the sun, we have the 8 of Swords, which is the butterfly in the cocoon. We have this 0, which is a knot, the 5 of Wands, and then the 6 of Wands. So it's like after the static of this and the confusion, the lack of focus, because in this deck it's more so like a lack of focus here, the butterfly emerges from the chrysalis, and then the bottom of the deck is the butterfly. Now, I believe that blue butterfly is an emperor butterfly. Or is it an empress butterfly? I think it's an emperor butterfly. Which would be interesting because, again, we've been seeing so much of that emperor. Emperor butterfly. Or is it an empress butterfly? Emperor butterfly. It has to be emperor, right? The purple emperor is a large elusive Eurasian butterfly known for the male's iridescent blue-purple sheen, visible only at certain angles, contrasting with its dark brown wings and white bands. As I usually see it, and by usually see it, I mean in Animal Crossing. Not Pocopia teaching me about irrigation and Animal Crossing teaching me about insects. Like here you see it's like purpley and blue. I've seen more so like this blue over here. And so it's, well, I guess they all have a slightly different sort of wing pattern. But like that one in particular looks pretty close. Anyway, Emperor Butterfly. The Emperor Butterfly, and again, because we had that like loving man holding a heart, perhaps a new emperor energy. Or we have an individual that redefines what it means to be an emperor, right? What it means to be a father, what it means to be a man in control. Because there's a certain almost detached, cold, tough love, authoritative way that we see it by and large, and that we're conditioned to see it, which creates a sort of narrative, a very specific narrative for a whole class of a lot of different things that doesn't necessarily have to be true, right? You don't have to be whatever. And sometimes, because that's what we see, that's what we think we have to be. Anyway, changing. So, in the, like, I'm not showing y'all these cards one by one. I probably should be. Right? And I don't have the thing on the card so you can't see. Actually, give me 1 second and I will give you a preview. Uno momento, and I'll give you a preview. Let's just hope I can get this back to the way I want it when this is all said and done. When it's all said and done. Okay, I'm only going to do this here if I even can. I should have my number one fan come in and help me. It's fine. It's fine. I was trying to like maneuver the camera, but it ain't. It ain't necessarily doing what I'd hope it do. Doing what I'd hope it do. I don't own the rights to that. I'll take my whiskey on the rocks. Please and thank you. Anyway. Okay. We have the Seven of Swords, the Two of Wands, Strength. I guess it's not too bad. I can show you now. Right? So, how am I going to do this? This is what we'll do. This is what we'll do. And then in the future, I'll just show you the cards as I pull them. Okay. So, in the first row, the number that we were given was 472,391,085. Right? So the 4 was the Magician, the Chariot, 4, 7, 2, Ivory Shield, 3, the Outlaw, 9, the Stronghold of the Grail, 1, the Giver, 0, so I just did the back of a card, 8, which was the 10 of Cups, and then 5, which was the 7 of Cups. Now, if you're keeping track of the numbers, then 3 is the difference between 7 and 10. And the outlaw is associated with water. Now, for the well-known 490,391,085, 4, which was the 7 of swords, 9, which was the 2 of wands, 0, which is strength, 3, which was the 2 of cups, 9, which I revealed because of the messenger as the sun, 1, which was the 8 of swords, 0, so again the back of the bottom of the deck, which I can see. I didn't look at it. 8, which is the 5 of wands, and 5, which was the 6 of wands. So there we go. Okay. So, in all of the hundreds place, so in the spirit, we have the 7 of swords and the 2 of cups. Again, the 7 of swords in this deck, in particular, for me, is my card of birthright. And the 2 of cups in this deck, for me in particular, is a mirror. And that was because, I mean, I can go into the. It's a mirror for me because I was pulling cards back when I was still learning. And like a card came out with the 2 of cups. And it read and felt like basically the energy of the card should have been there twice, but there's only one copy of each card in a standard deck, so it couldn't come up again. And something about maybe the 2 cups and the way the roses are crossed, this was like the mirror. So it mirrored the card that was next to it. It came out in place of a copy of that card because copies don't exist in a deck from which there's only one, right? Even in the number that we have, there are no duplicate numbers. The only number that duplicates is 0 and 9. And that's, after they sort of collapse. Okay. And the tens place, in the space of the mind, we have the 2 of wands, the sun, and the 5 of wands. And the ones place, in the space of the body, we have strength, the 8 of swords, and the 6 of wands. What I love about that, it's like of strength of the body of the spirit is the strength that the butterfly needs to emerge from its chrysalis. The butterfly breaking out of the cocoon gives it the strength that it needs to fly. Right? And it's one of those things where it's like if you break, like domesticated silk moths are different because they've been domesticated to produce as much silk as possible. And so they're kind of different than they were slash are in the wild. Basically, they spin their cocoons with so much silk that they need people to like help them get out. So you cut them out because they've been bred again, sort of with the tamed lion and death, the tamed lion that would never go down that path of initiation. They've been domesticated to spin so much silk that they spin more than they have the strength to be able to break out of or overcome. They'd be trapped in their own cocoons unless you cut them out. But this is someone harnessing the strength to break out of their own shell so that they also have the strength to fly and overcome all of this tangled, brambly mess. They become untouchable. right? So that's interesting. It almost makes like it really does make me want to look at, especially since we had that ivory shield at first, for the card of birthright to be here, with the card of making the decision with strength, to then be followed up by what we just said or what I said as like the fulfillment of the thing, the two of cups, and then for the page of cups, which is the messenger to the one that guards all that is sacred and holy, to have the message of the sun. And you literally see like these doves on the sun. We've been seeing doves, especially in the aces of cups, and there's like four of them, two of them rising, two of them, two ascending, two descending. This is again, this is the body. No, this is the mind of the mind, right? Yeah, the mind of the mind, the true center of all of this. It's a 9-digit number. There's four to the left, four to the right. Where we had the page before, now it's like there's two going up to the spirit and two going down to the body. Again, it feels like since it's bridged, I almost want to look at the thing that was being withheld before. And again, with the energy of the cards beyond the system of the number, it reads like something that we are allowed to see. Just like usually with the nine, I don't pull anything, but since this time it was literally a messenger with the message, it's like you can open the message, girl. It's delivered to you. Hello. It's delivered to you, it's addressed to you, and it's not given under the condition of open this on the whatever of whatever day. Right. Again, if we're talking about that kairos mythic quantitative rather than qualitative time, the event that happened, like even again, the guardian of that passage of initiation, the one that the tame lion could never, whatever. And it's so funny because we saw the storm cleansing and whatever electricity wildness with the dark matter mystery. And I was like, it's cleansing the wild woman of that wildness and it's leaving mystery. Not in a way that you tame the lion, like you declaw the lion or whatever, but in a way where she learns to control herself. I feel like control herself is a bit, she learns to temper herself and she learns to give as much as is needed. Not everybody in every situation necessarily calls for things to be on 10 or 11, but sometimes you got to turn it up to 23 or 52 or 10. I am really curious. I kind of, what I'll do is in the last row, I'll reveal it. That's what we'll do. Okay. Next is the Astral Matrix, and the Hangman's at the bottom. See, that Eight of Swords is sitting on top of the Six of Pentacles, right? And when we saw the Six of Pentacles before, it was that energy of like the things that the Queen of Cups gives attention to versus the things that the environment of the Queen of Cups brings to her awareness, right? And it was just like that sort of play. Something in the mind, you could say, as it all came out, something in the mind was held stagnant. It's like something of the spirit. And this again kind of sort of plays into the fundament and firmament thing, where it's like something in the firmament is reaching to the fundament, but there's a disconnect in between. It's almost like the balance of attention and awareness that is happening within the body of the mind of that Queen of Cups keeps the spirit from being able to manifest something in the body. And it's almost like this attention awareness is distracting from this other thing. Or it's not until that attention and awareness comes into balance that then something will be able to be deposited. Right? We see that strength in the body of the spirit, just where as we saw that ivory shield. So again, you could say there was a proving that happened. And we see the lion with the rose. Literally the lion with the rose and then the two roses. There's the white rose, the red rose, no green. I feel like the fact that we don't see green means it's not a matter of the heart. Because the heart can be in whatever space or position that it's in. Like if the heart feels terrible that you do bad things, but you keep doing bad things, then bad things are being done and you're just doing bad things with a broken heart. Right? Sometimes it is more about actions than it is intentions. Anyway, it's like there's a proving that was done. Also, we see the woman and the lion. Now, in this deck, strength is the lion itself that holds the rose. The rose is almost a memento from the lady. And again, it's like that wild woman that's tamed herself. We see in some strength cards, they're more antagonistic, and some strength cards, they're chilling and they're good. It's like the lion has been set free, but it takes the lessons that the lady imparted upon it with it. And that's the rose with the thorns in its mouth. So it's almost like the lion has proven that even with the lady absent, it can still conduct itself in a manner that is appropriate to whatever this is. And again, what is appropriate is going to be different for different folks. Cool. And again, that's why it feels like, yeah, girl, go ahead, open it up. Someone broke out of the cocoon. And that's all in the body. And maybe that's sort of like the difference or part of the difference too. It's like in someone's mind and in their heart and in their spirit, they're sort of one way, but in their body, they're a different way. That misalignment or lack of alignment in the body could have also been what kept the spirit from being able to freely give, disperse, or manifest something physically to interact with the body. And again, that kind of sort of plays into the way that you see somebody with you and with other people is the way that they are with themselves behind closed doors. There's a consistency and integrity in that. And that came out maybe a few lives ago. I don't know. Anyway, all right. And a cut. We'll just go from there. It's almost 9 o'clock. Oh my gosh. Okay, 49. So this one is 490,399,005. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this whole deck in reverse? I kind of want to keep the devil in reverse, honestly. I think the whole deck is in reverse, though. Yeah, it is. Okay. 4. Now, because this is a 9 now, I'm not going to pull it. 1, 2, but I'm still going to, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll just put it face down. 0. 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's the Two of Pentacles, just like we saw here. Love it. Love it. Love it. 3, 9. Am I going to continue to reveal? I mean, because the sun is the card here, the sun illuminates. So I'm going to reveal this one too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's the Page of Pentacles. Again, she's like, sort of pick one. 3, 9, 9. So this becomes 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the Knight of Cups. 0, 0. The first time we have a 0, I do reveal it, right? So this 0 was from the first one. So that's the bottom of the deck, and we don't see it. This 0 is from the 8 that we collapse into the 1. So we do see this one. And it's the 7 of Cups. And then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's the Ace of Swords. Bottom of the deck is the 3 of Wands. And the 10 of Cups is behind the 3 of Wands. Cool. So we do see the 10 of Cups and the 7 of Cups again. All right. This is so interesting. I feel like this is where ego comes into play. Because the only thing we see in the spirit now is the devil. It can be the ego, but it can also be is that like an asceticism? An asceticism? It's like the spirit is in control of the mind and the body, basically. Because we have the Two of Pentacles and the Devil energy. Both of these are actually Capricorn. We see Jupiter in Capricorn and pure Capricorn. In the mind of the mind, we have the Page of Pentacles. Or in the mind, we have the Page of Pentacles and the 7 of Cups. And then in the body, we have the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Now, what's interesting about the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Swords is we saw in the Aset Romani tarot that Knight of Cups was holding a sword and was a whole, why is the Knight of Cups holding a sword? Under that, we saw the Emperor, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit, and the Devil. Right? Now, okay. There's a lot of context. If I could show you the cards on the table, there's a lot of context that we're sort of like building and forming as we do this, right? So the reason why I said initially when I saw the devil here as the only card in the spirit of the spirit, there's the devil. It's because again, there's something in the mind that has been resolved and worked out in collaboration and coordination with the spirit that encourages the keeper of the sacred gateway. I would almost say sacred crossroads, but kind of sort of. It's more like a gateway than a crossroads. But it's also like there's a crossroads beyond the gateway. It's basically is very much like with a certain with knowledge or with power, with advantage. How do you use it? That is the crossroads beyond the gateway. After you have that knowledge or whatever, do you use it this way or do you use it that way? To grossly oversimplify. Because it's not necessarily all this way or all that way. Maybe every time we approach a choice or decision or have the opportunity, we revisit that crossroad. But that's why it was like reading like ego. Kind of like a power trip in a little bit, in a way, in a way. But so the last things we've seen, yeah, because that nine is a nine and that zero is the zero. The last things we've seen in the spirit, maybe, and again, I like the devil as like a sort of self control. The spirit has the mind and the body on lock, right? So this isn't someone. 'Cause it's almost like it can be really easy for us to betray ourselves or to act out of character. And there are multiple ways that I feel about acting out of character. But it's like sometimes even though we know we're supposed to be doing our diet or whatever, we get a craving for a little something sweet. And we eat the little something sweet because the body wants it, right? To strip all of the morality or the judgment out of it. Sometimes the body wants what the body wants, and sometimes the mind just goes down certain tangents, like an intrusive thought, right? Just because your body craves something doesn't mean you have to give it to it. And just because you have an intrusive thought doesn't mean that you have to act upon it. There are a lot of people that have intrusive thoughts that they don't act upon. And there are a lot of people that have enough discipline that even if their body craves something, they don't give into it. And again, I feel like there isn't necessarily, I mean, maybe the chariot, but the chariot is all about movement and having a destination sort of in mind. It moves with purpose. I feel like there isn't necessarily a card that is like a self control type card. This is the spirit keeping the body and the mind sort of in check. And also, because I'm looking at the as above, so below ishness of this devil energy. And that's the same Hierophant. That's what the Hierophant does anyway. And it's like there's something even, this is why I use the spirit instead of the soul. Because with that in the spirit pointing up, it's like there's something even beyond the spirit. And so I feel like that gives a context to seeing that gatekeeper in the spirit. Because at first, when I was going through it and reading it, it's like there's something of the spirit that's being prevented, question mark. Prevented may be a strong word. There's something of the spirit that can't fully interact and intermingle with the body. But seeing this here, it's like there's something beyond the spirit. Maybe it's source, maybe it's the all, maybe it's someone's soul, right? And it's like if you can't get the spirit to really interact consistently with the body, and if it's sort of tenuous with the mind, there's no way you can get the soul to sort of come in, and all of the soul's pure, undilute, it is what it is ness, it would burn a wavering connection out. Now, what's interesting about this Page of Pentacles is, though, and even with the sun here, it's like you see the sun sort of like up here, right? Like there's the sun up here. The Ace of Pentacles that descends, it's like this Page of Pentacles has that Ace of Pentacles in hand. But because of that, I'm like, well, what's this Two of Pentacles about? It's almost giving the potential, if nothing else, of a third pentacle. So it's like neither one of those things. Now, if it is neither one of these things, the only reason why I wouldn't be surprised is if that is of the soul. And to be fair, it does come from higher, beyond the frame of this card, right? And then we have the Knight of Cups with the Seven of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Honestly, the Seven of Cups, especially with all of this, like what is of the spirit and what is of the soul, this Seven of Cups feels like a reevaluation. This time we see the Seven of Cups in the mind of the body, whereas before we saw it in the body of the body. In the mind of the body, before we saw the Ten of Cups, the joyous one, where the body of the body, it's almost like it located, it re-centralized its frame of reference, if that makes sense. And it's like because of that, now it is sort of like, even like in a low-hanging fruit type of way, it's like whatever, so it's this is the energy of like someone had an experience that redefined their definition of what's possible. And before they had that experience, like they wouldn't have even known it's possible to do something, to consider it an option. And after they've had that world opening, eye opening, mind expanding, heart awakening, I don't know, experience, now they're looking for more of that. It's raised the bar, essentially. And now in the body, there's a knowing with this Ace of Swords. Not only a knowing, but a trust. And when there's trust in the body, when the body itself can trust, and when the body itself is tapped into that knowing, it's a lot less sabotagey, right? It's like when, again, it's like someone doesn't even crave whatever anymore. Like their body doesn't even want it anymore because the body knows, right? So it could be the difference between like maybe artificial and natural sugar or sweetness. For example, again, craving something sweet. It's like it's like someone had never had something like dates are pretty sweet, right? And they're also maybe a little caramely. I don't know. I've had dates, but I'm not good at describing things. Especially, I'm not good at describing like sensations. You know what I mean? Like, how does it taste? I'm like, uh, it tastes like what it tastes like. Anyway, but it's like someone tastes a date for the first time and they're like, whoa, like this is really sweet and kind of caramely. Like, this is something natural that my body can digest and interact with. and process that, you know, it hits the sweet tooth and it's better for the body. It's a win-win. So now instead of craving the processed sugar, they found a resource in something natural that is still sweet. So it's like that knowledge, that raising of the bar just causes the body to not crave certain things anymore. Right. So another example, I've seen a lot of reels on Instagram and other places, like shorts and videos and talks of like people who have gone from kind of sort of like tumultuous, chaotic environments and relationships to one where there's peace, and the adjustment period to that as your like nervous system is calming down and as you're getting used to and accustomed to a different environment. It's like after they maybe at first there's questions of like, why doesn't this person do that or do this or what's going on here, blah blah blah, whatever. But after a while it's like they start to adjust and adapt and adopt those sort of habits and prefer those things. So that maybe in the beginning, if their nerves were still fried and they craved a little bit of what they thought at the time was excitement or passion, before they realized, girl, like, no, that's just, you've been in fight or flight mode for a sustained period of time. And after your body learned that there was no threat, and after you come down, then you get to like, you know, and it's like with that knowing, everything changes. And again, like we have this Two of Pentacles and then the Page of Pentacles as this like outside option, right? And then we have the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Cups. Like this person is trying to pick a cup between these seven, and then this ace is like literally riding in behind them. Like there's another option that this person isn't even aware of, and it's like on its way. And again, because we saw that Queen of Cups ivory shield, and we saw strength with the Two of Swords, or strength with the Two of Wands, like make committing to the decision once it's made and the outcome of that. Again, it feels like what was withheld before when we saw that um, Queen of Cups is going to be made available. Someone's going to get a better offer. But then they'll be at the crossroads beyond the gateway, right? Basically, like that. What are you going to do with it? Type energy, right? Okay. Oh, goodness. What time is it? That's what happens when I start late. I'm glad I timestamped the pulling because I should have known. I should have known. Four of Swords and the Seven of Cups, the Convalescent and the Corruptor, literally convalescing from the removal of that corruption. Because there's the Axe of Shiva that removes corruption. Sometimes what's corrupted, sometimes there's something within us that reaches out to what is corrupt. Or sometimes there's something within us that a corrupting influence sort of reaches out to that sort of amplifies and magnifies that, right? So again, when they say that opportunity makes a thief or absolute power corrupts absolutely, opportunity and power are just things that reach out to us. And then there are certain parts of us that sort of beat the other parts in meeting it. it can amplify what's already there to a point where it wouldn't necessarily exist naturally, but there is a root at the very least, something that calls to us inside. This is like the healing after it's been removed. It's like a post-op recovery, right? And maybe in that post-op recovery, that's when we find the thing that we couldn't see before. Whatever the spirit was like, they're not ready yet. The spirit as the intermediary between the mind, body, and the soul. Right? Like the mind is the intermediary between the spirit and the body, as the spirit is the intermediate between the soul and the mind slash body. Maybe the spirit is like, the soul is speaking. The soul will speak to you now. And you're like, oh, everything goes quiet. You're like, oh my gosh. And the soul says something profound like, I like cheese. And then the body is like, I knew that that was more than just really good cheese, because I've had good cheese. But something about this cheese in particular, just, it was an experience. Girl, I don't know. Maybe your ancestors were the best cheesemakers in the world, and their cheese making prowess is going to be reintroduced through you. I don't know. Herald of the Flame, Awaken the Brilliance is the card that came out. Awaken the Brilliance. I kind of love that. And again, the heralds, the strongholds, the pages come with messages in this deck. So, this is where you get to choose. This is the choice between the choice after the gateway, because we have 3 cards that are face down right now. Right? We have actually, I'm going to offer you the. How are we going to do this? Because I'm like, should we just reveal all of them? We have 3 cards that are face down. We have the Mind of the Spirit. We have the Body of the Spirit. And the Spirit of the Body. Now, the Spirit of the Body has been face down this whole time. Maybe this is just confirmation, because I did say that we would reveal it in the last. It just felt like it. So maybe this is just confirmation too. And again, this was the thing that's been withheld the longest. So I was gonna like, do you want to look at the first one, the second one, or the third one? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Because I pull them face down anyway. Maybe this Awaken the Brilliance is like, you get to see everything that you couldn't see before. You now get to see. Maybe it's that like aha moment that recontextualizes everything. And now, like, all of this stuff that we never even had a chance to see, because we wouldn't have been capable of being even remotely aware at whatever point in time, now it's all revealed. Awaken the Brilliance. And there's like the gap in the wall. You can see beyond the this gives, and I think is it the 9 of Swords in the Osho Zen Tarot? That's sorrow, question mark. And there's like this, I'm gonna go looking for it, but it's like the fog has cleared and you can see the exit now. Also, Awaken the Brilliance. Yeah. Okay, all right. So 990399900. The five. So the body of the body is now completing the spirit of the spirit, which I kind of love. And again, that's that whole, there was something, I don't know, it feels like it just came full circle. So before, if I go through these, we had the spirit we had the body of the spirit complete the mind of the spirit, right? And then we had the mind of the body completing the body of the mind. And now we have the body of the body completing the spirit of the spirit. And if you want to see that again, um, from the first to the first red 2 completed the first blue 7. And then, well, I mean, there's only one of each number. So, and then the blue 8 completed the red 1. And then finally, the red 5 is completing the green 4. The spirit hasn't completed anything. If I look at the different colors, red completed blue, blue completed red, and then red completed green. But green has never completed anything. It's been 4 and then 3. And again, it feels like that's that energy of like catching up to the spirit so that whatever lies beyond the soul at large, the all, the interconnectedness, the gateways of interconnectedness, right? It's like there's a difference between knowing we're all connected and not forcing or forging certain things because of the knowing that we're all connected, and actually like experiencing being tapped into and aware of that connection, right? Like it's one thing to know that the spoon isn't real, but it's another thing to be in tune enough and aware enough to bend the spoon or treat it as if it doesn't exist. You know, anyway, it's fine. All right. So, are we revealing everything? I kind of want to say yes. I'm going to put them face down and then we'll flip them up. How about it? So I can like sort of remember. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So we have 990,399,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the bereaved, the 3 of swords. Literally Isis, as she was putting the pieces of Osiris back together before he was resurrected. We're going to set these here. 9, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 0 from the bottom of the deck. 1, 2, 3. It is another herald. Herald of the winds. Ventures of the dauntless. Okay. And then 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 0, 0, 0. Bottom of the deck is the Archangel of Mysteries, the angel who illuminates the shadow. Angel who illuminates the shadow, awaken the brilliance. It's kind of sort of like Loki, literally, All of the face down cards are face up now. Archangel of the Mysteries at the bottom of the deck here, where we saw the angel that stands, the BTFU, STFU, mind your business angel that stands as the guardian of all that is sacred and holy. But sacred and holy in ways that are like sacred and holy, but also deeply intimate and personal. So intimate and personal, it's like it's between you and your creator, intimate and personal. Things that you may not even necessarily know because it's between you and your creator to that point and to that degree. So when I see that card pop up, especially within certain cases, scenario situations and scenarios, I'm like, okay, I understand that like we're doing this, whatever. That's my cue that I don't go beyond this point. It's not for me to know. It's for you and your crew, spirit team, the divine to work out. It's like for not for me to reveal or even to speculate. I can approximate, and maybe that's like toeing the line a little bit, but I speculate no. Postulate in terms of like, okay, so up until this point, this is what's been going on. These are the vibes and feelings. You take that, use your intuition, discernment, and connection to go further. Do with that what you will, because if I were to proceed, I'm liable to either A, F it up, or B, discover something that I wasn't supposed to know, and now somebody's got to come and take care of me. Because the Five of Pentacles is here, and usually it's somebody outside of the church. I'm not saying it's something that the church is hiding. Just like we saw the devil energy, the devil card that had making the same sign as that Hierophant. See, this is why I just keep my mouth closed. You ain't got to take care of me. I'll self censor. That's fine. Because if it's really for somebody, their intuition and discernment is going to tell them anyway. You know what I mean? Anyway, all shall be revealed. I can't believe the Archangel of Mysteries was there. I shouldn't be surprised. Also, when the Six of Wands was at the bottom of the deck the first time, this portended us seeing that strength card literally in the next row. We already saw someone that did what they had to do to be victorious. And if this person can make it on the throne, of course she can make a decision, stick to it, have the determination that it was like, of course. At the time, the Six of Pentacles ain't really necessarily mean anything. Also, we see that. That is the 10th orb. That's the fruit that, again, the BTFU, STFU, mind your business, the guardian of all that is holy, literally, and in the, I want to say the cosmology of it all. What Adam and Eve, what Adam was told, and then he told Eve, we were told not to partake of that. There's the fruit right there. But it's given to the one that now sits on that throne. Again, what the spirit withheld, it is now leading someone to like meet their soul. And of course, at that point, you would have to have some kind of knowing. But literally, the prize was right there the whole time. So again, I'm the Archangel of Mysteries. She's like, you may partake, but once you eat the fruit, it can't be uneaten. And even if you regurgitate it, it does nothing because the fruit was never physical in the first place, or only a part of it was. Okay, anyway, all right. We only have two cards that are revealed now, but I love it. We have the Three of Swords and the Page of Swords, Herald of the Winds. And again, comes with a message. It feels like Isis is interrupted here. Just as like all the pieces are being put back together, the Herald of the Winds approaches. Oh, girl, imagine. Okay. I feel like if this isn't your first rodeo over here, I was gonna say follow me, come with me, but I feel like even in the same video, girl, it's what you got to do. I'm sorry, I'm not. There are plenty of people who don't beat around the bush and who don't take 5 hours to say the thing that they can say in 20 minutes. Maybe they're for you. If I'm not, maybe they are. Anyway, so imagine, right? Isis hears about this terrible thing. She doesn't see, but she hears. First, Osiris goes missing. She's like, okay, that's weird. Like, it's not weird for us. Like, we're both busy. We both have our own things. But the fact that it's been this long and I ain't heard nothing and this thing happened and we ain't even meet up, that's weird. And then she hears a rumor that Set, okay, Chino. And then she hears a rumor that Set cut him up, put the pieces all over the world. And she's like, oh my gosh, that explains it. That must have happened. Or she hears a rumor that Set cut somebody up and put the pieces all over the world. She's like, oh my gosh, like that must have been Osiris because I ain't seen Osiris. She's gathering up all the pieces. She's about to do her thing. And then before she can do her thing, she stops here. And dude brings the word because it's the page of swords. They come with a message. Like, girl, the pieces that you've been collecting, that's not Osiris. You was about to resurrect something else or somebody else. See, because what had happened was somebody had captured Osiris for one. How they did that, I don't know. Somebody had captured Osiris. They knew that you had or would come into, because of love, the power to resurrect, the power of resurrection. They knew that you would use your authority over resurrection, something that you don't do because the dead are, after they're dead and gone. They're not meant to be here anymore. But instead of Osiris being resurrected, they want this other big bad to be resurrected. So they engineered circumstances, purposefully planted certain information in a way that you would come across it. You would put two and two together in your own mind because of the state of worry that you were in that was intentionally manufactured, engineered. You would make these assumptions that nobody said. But when you put two and two together, it's one of those, well, I didn't say. If that's what they assumed, that assumption is on them. There's a lot of intention. You ain't reach a certain conclusion on accident. Even if they ain't say it because they don't want the liability, they heavily implied it. And they engineered circumstances in a way where you would believe it's true. They were going to have you resurrect Apep. I don't know. The snake that the eagle tore up and devoured. That's what she was going to resurrect. Because when the pieces are that small, or I don't know. Anyway, it's like, it's almost given that kind of energy. Like it wasn't Osiris. Maybe Osiris is in the chariot. Osiris steps out like, girl, hold up. They was like, I was doing this other thing. I got like, either I was working on something and I lost track of time, or somebody came and did. And there's a whole plot and a whole ploy. Osiris steps out of the chariot like, hold up, before you go resurrect and just know that that ain't me. It's not me. And now, because again, these are the only two cards we see. It's Three of Swords, face down, Page of Swords, face down, face down, face down, face down, face down. Now it's like the truth has come to the light and the mystery shall be revealed. What really happened? Maybe that's what I should title this ICC. What really happened to Osiris? Because whoever the pieces of that are, that ain't him. Type energy. And of course, take it as it resonates when it resonates. If it don't resonate, don't take it. Low hanging fruit of that could be, let's say that you are someone of low hanging fruit. You are someone of means, resources, finances, finance. You got wealth, you got some money, and someone, it's like somehow somebody around someone that you trust. It's almost giving one of those like AI voicemail scams, right? They're like, and they say like if there's a number that you don't recognize, or if someone's asking for information, just be wary because they could be asking you questions to use your voice to train an AI model to duplicate you, so that then they call someone with this AI you to demand or ask for money. Low hanging fruit, just like this most base sort of way that this could apply. It's something like that. It's not even the person who you like know and trust and who never asks for anything, who never asks for anything. So the fact that they're asking must mean that things are like dire or whatever. It's not even them, but it's someone like using a pre-existing connection to encourage someone to access and exercise something that they don't usually do. If you are someone like if you're a healer or an intercessor or something, and there's somebody who's done gotten themselves into some kind of trouble, and the trouble that they have gotten into was like sticky and or contagious. That's why sometimes you have to know, be in touch and in tune enough to know, like, hey Holly, how's it going? You have to be in touch and in tune enough to know, okay, this is something that I have to keep at least a certain amount of distance from, because it's very big. It's not what or who you thought it was type energy, right? Anyway, maybe you told somebody, maybe you was on the phone and you told somebody, yeah, I left the keys to the house in the pot next to the thing. And they're like, or maybe you're on the phone and you're like, hey, like I'm going on vacation. Can you, stop by the house on this day? I'm expecting a delivery. And like, can you just be there when it comes and make sure that everything's good? I'll leave the key in the pot next to the front door. This person has just heard not only where your key is, but that you will not be home. And so they follow you. They're like, oh, that's their house. Okay. Maybe there's like more than one pot next to the front door, but there's like a countable number of pots. Like maybe there's five. I feel like, anyway, it's fine. And so then you go on vacation and this person comes and they clean. Maybe they wait until after that day. So because if they do it before that day, then the person is going to be like, I stopped by your house to get the package or whatever, and it was cleaned up. So they wait until after, right? After the delivery is made, the person puts the key back and they go about their way. And then they take the key and they clean everything up. And now to you, the only person that you've told about the key was the person that you trusted to, you know, get the package for you. And they didn't tell anybody else. And when they went there, everything was fine. But now all of a sudden, everything gone. And there's no sign of forced entry. They didn't break in. They didn't need to because they overheard where you keep the key. And like again, ever especially since the last row, and even a little bit before, I wonder if this is almost like something that's happened with somebody multiple times. Because again, there was the Two of Pentacles that the person was deciding between. And then with the Page of Pentacles, it looked like this third pentacle descended from the heavens, right? There were this cup that somebody was trying to pick between in the Seven of Cups. But then all of a sudden, the Knight of Cups arrives with this extra cup. Like it's low key given the energy. I don't know if this is like somebody's dynamic of like whenever you're like trying to make a choice or decision, whenever you're deliberating, whenever you're doing whatever, Maybe the divine comes in. It's like, hey, like, do this or do that, or here's another option, or here's something that you haven't considered. It's giving like saving grace, right? Is there a TV show called Saving Grace? If there's not a TV show called Saving Grace, I would be surprised and disappointed, right? And all of the TV shows and names and titles that have been out there, ain't nobody done Saving Grace yet. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. Apparently, my brain is going full Pisces. I just got, there was, okay, all right. Because I just got like, I don't know, some like hospital drama. Like, there's this little girl and she's whatever, and she's on the organ donor list, and they think they have one, but then they don't have one. And there's an experimental procedure. And my brain was just like, Saving Grace. Blah, 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 blah. There you go. First 3 seasons. Anyway. But I think the thing that's different this time is, though, there's an action that was about to be taken or something that was about to be done. And for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. Every effect is triggered by a cause, a response triggered by a stimulus. And it's almost like someone was about to do something, or someone was about to finish doing something that it's like if they would have done it, if they would have carried it out, if something would have come to pass, it would have been a whole, when people say they had they karmic whatever, like there was this whole experience that I had that I didn't need to have, that I very much so didn't need to have, but I did it for the plot, I did it for the drama, I did it for the experience, and boy, do I wish I didn't. Maybe not that necessarily. Or if even if it's not that, it could be something that's also very like, maybe there's something that's always called out to somebody, right? Like the cheese thing. Maybe someone loves cheese so much and they want to open their own fromagerie, right? Their own cheese place. And they're like, oh, like there's this one person and they make cheese this way or whatever, but they, in the, take it as it resonates, take what a grain of sand and salt of it all. They have ancestors that are like expert cheesemakers, and it's the kind of cheese that back in the day, girl, used to, people went wild for this cheese. And it's time for the world, like the world has been so the world lately, that the divine's like, you know what, they deserve some really good cheese. So bring back the good cheese. So you're, again, you've always been passionate about cheese, you're about to do it, and maybe something inspires you to do it in a certain type of way, right? Maybe you have a conversation with a grandparent or a parent or a cousin, and you're like, hey, like, I think I might start making cheese. And I'm like, oh, like, your great this, great that, like, they used to make cheese. And, like, I inherited, like, this book or whatever of all their cheese making knowledge. It's like, here, use this. But it's like you were like doing research and you were like talking to people who make cheese and stuff like that, and you were about to do that, but then it's like your connects happen, and now you get to do it the way that your ancestors did it. Obviously, it's a metaphor. Oh snap! Am I gonna have to watch this show now? Was it good? Was it a good show? As soon as I said it, I'm like, that had to be a TV show. I would be surprised if it isn't. Anyway, okay. Are we gonna reveal all the cards? I thought it would only be like three. One, two, three. But this was a zero. This has always been a zero. This became a zero because the eight completed the one. And I revealed it here. because it just became a zero. This is a zero now because the five completed the four. So this one I do reveal. It's the Seven of Cups again, but it's the one with the axe of Shiva that removes corruption. Oh, look, we see the lion. That is that the lion? Yeah, that's the lion. You see the lion. Now, the Seven of Cups in the SKT specifically, we've seen the Seven of Cups in 3 out of 4 of these. The Seven of Cups in the SKT in particular, each cup, each animal represents a different one of the seven deadly sins. So again, where we kind of saw the devil after we saw strength and the birthright card and stuff like that, and it was that matter of ego. Like, what does someone do with the power or the knowledge or the position of authority and advantage that they've been given? What do they do with it? Excuse me. It's also interesting that this came out under the Ace of Swords. So in this line, we have the Seven of Cups before we see the axe that removes corruption, the Seven of Cups, the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and then the Seven of Cups with the axe of Shiva that removes corruption. So, like, again, there's been this whole journey. The butterfly is here because it had the strength to break out of the cocoon on its own. This wasn't a choice and decision that somebody else made for whatever. And it wasn't even necessarily one that was influenced by someone else. It could have been impacted by someone else, but not influenced by someone else. Someone didn't like make the choice that someone else wanted them to make, and they also didn't surrender the choice for someone else to make themselves. That's why we end up here. Because again, like there's a very people are people and gone people, right? You come into whatever and now you want to flex, right? I just saw another one of those who she left and who she created. I'm like, if she had to leave to create that, she was never going to get it. You know what I mean? If he had to leave to create whatever, he was never going to get it. So it's like people do it and post and talk about it like it's something that somebody's missing out on. You're never gonna get this because you left, but they never would have got it if they stayed either. So ultimately for them, they didn't lose anything by leaving. If they would have stayed, they wouldn't have got it, and now that they left, they're not getting it. It was never theirs to begin with. But they live in your mind rent free. Anyway, okay. So we do have three because this one just became a zero. So because it just became a zero, I reveal it. I reveal it one after it becomes a zero, right? And also one after it, or when it becomes a nine. Yeah, because when it's a nine, it's there. The first time it becomes a nine. After it's a nine, it goes face down. Right? Sure. 000. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. So that was the one tale telling of Isis and Osiris. Excuse me. Because again, now we have the corruptor here. I wonder. Well, To be fair, when it comes to deities and gods, they don't necessarily always um, abide by the same rules as mortals. Sometimes they do. I feel like most of the time they don't. Like there are certain things that should never be done, right? Bringing the dead back, it sounds like okay, well, outside of resurrection, mass resurrection before judgment day, I guess. It's like they don't, especially if depending on how long it's been, right? If someone like flatlines and then they come back, that's one thing. But if someone's been like gone for after their soul has departed their body and rejoined wherever is next, then after that coming back, I don't know. There are people who have near death experiences and experience pieces, parts, fragments of the afterlife, and then they come back with some kind of knowledge, memory, or knowing. The technicalities, I don't know. Of course, I don't know. That's not the point of this. As far as this channel and this read is concerned, it's all taboo. But it's almost like even if ISIS were to do it, this is where it gets gray. There's like something that is lost, which is another TV show, or something that happens, right? And it's like I don't watch a lot of I don't watch zombie anything. And I haven't necessarily seen too many. I mean, I played Cult of the Lamb, and I feel like there's something else that I've seen, maybe more of a clip than actually watching the show, of like when people bring somebody back from the dead, but they're like different. And not just they have the hunger of a zombie, different. Um, but it's like there's something about them that's like different or not the same because like they should have been left to rest. But it seems like with this corruptor here, with the acts of Shiva that removes corruption, it's almost giving a reduced to no side effects thing. And again, we see that divine isle here, the one that we see in the back of the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, but it has a lighthouse now. Maybe the lighthouse is like there's a proper way to navigate those waters and to go about doing something. When you do it the proper way, of course, there's less whatever. Girl, this is it's a metaphor. It is a metaphor, obviously. But again, like it's almost like that's why we saw that ivory shield in the first place. The body of the spirit. And the body of the spirit, it could even be like it's the part of the spirit that again, it's between the soul slash the all and the mind slash body. And so it's almost like there's a part of someone's spirit that has an awareness of who and what it is enough to be able to predict maybe certain things in life. Or maybe the spirit has a conversation with the divine in a way that it's like, hey, this is going to happen at some point. And so, but it's like, I don't know if anyone has like a certain gift and there's something that they can't do with it that they like keep wanting to do and they never get an answer or something like that. Not necessarily. It's just like something that's not revealed because of where that person is at that time. Again, when we first saw the Seven of Cups, the corruptor, there wasn't a means to get rid of that corruption. There was no knowledge of the proper way to do something or to go about something, right? Then the first thing we have is a certain integrity and a decision, an embarkation, if you will, and strength. The first thing that happened, the butterfly had the strength to emerge from the chrysalis, strength enough to overcome all of these. And it's literally right after the Five of Wands, right? So, what could have been this, instead, now it's only this, right? Which is maybe mild, not even confusion, rather than like being stuck in the weeds and bogged down in something. That was the first thing that happened. The second thing was someone being in tune enough with their spirit, with their intuition and discernment, that when life could have gone some ways, it started to go other ways. Or where someone was discerning enough and trusting enough in their discernment and intuition that they it gave them clarity or opportunities that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Right. And there's a trust and a knowing in the body. The body deeply trusts in one's intuition and discernment to the point where the ego, the flesh, the shadow, it doesn't have to sabotage what like the divine wants or what someone wants for themselves, right? In like a higher sense. Those were like the first two things that happened. So now at this point, and again, it's like maybe going back to the cheese thing, maybe there's one way that available knowledge or available information would highlight certain processes, but there's like a better, proper way. This is the proper way. Again, with the illumination there, with the axe that removes corruption. And it's almost like the pieces themselves had like gone bad, right? So, for example, Isis and Osiris. Isis is gathering these pieces. Osiris has been dead for who knows how long. Maybe some of the pieces of Osiris have begun to rot. And if he were assembled, reassembled, and resurrected with those still intact, he would literally rot from the inside. And so something had to be done to those pieces to excise the rot. So when he's resurrected, he's like, not a brain crazed, blood crazed zombie vampire thing, undead monstrosity. If it is even Osiris. And it's almost like even if it's not Osiris, the corruption from something can be removed. And I feel like a low hanging fruit here would be instead of resurrecting a person, maybe it's a connection, right? Maybe there is a connection that someone had in their life that was really important to them, but they had to sever that connection for mental, emotional health reasons. And maybe, I don't know, Mercury retrograde is over, but she comes at least 3 times a year. Or maybe, I don't know, it could be anything. And maybe somebody's reaching out. And then the corrector here would be to like have boundaries, like clearly communicate those boundaries if you really want to rekindle a connection or reestablish one. Like open, honest communication and the establishment of boundaries can go a long way to eventually reestablishing maybe a trust. But to just go into it, whatever, is to invite the same circumstance in a way. Cool. I honestly kind of sort of want to leave it there. So now, you know where we started, where we ended. We have this 9, which is the bereaved, the 3 of Swords. We have this 9, which is the 2 of Wands. We have this 0. Do we have zeros? Well, zeros are knots, so no. We have all of these 3s, question mark? Or just this 3? From where we started, we have this 3, which is the Herald of the Winds. We have, it started as a 9, which is the Stronghold of the Grail. So 2 pages. This is 1. So we have this 9, which is the Page of Pentacles. Oh, 3 pages. Page of Swords, Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles. Right, I have 990399000. That's it, because the rest of them became zeros, which I kind of sort of love. It's almost giving very Abraham and Isaac in terms of like the point of the sacrifice, or the point of asking for the sacrifice, was not for the sacrifice to take place, but it was to see if the resolve was. I don't know what the point is, girl. Let me not even speculate like I know the machinations and whatever of the divine. But if the point was for the sacrifice to be made, then the sacrifice would have been made. Maybe more so just like things that we have to go through. In life, there are going to be things that we go through. And we have the choice to stop and wallow and basically live there, or to keep going. And it's like, if someone resolves, or when we resolve to keep going, that's when all these pages sort of like start coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, 990399000. That's 5, and we got 5 cards. This is where we end up. Right? So, the card, the first 0. I'm kind of nervous. What is it? Any guesses? Interesting. It's the Stronghold of the Flame, Herald of the Awakening. All of the pages are here now. We have the Page of Swords, the Page of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. Now, what's interesting is this Herald of the Awakening. We saw that card. Where is it? It came out. It flipped out when I was shuffling this deck. But because it's here, it's almost like just like there was a knowing or a very well educated guess or a knowing that there would be things in life that we would, at the time of experiencing them, not be prepared to handle in a way. But it's almost like there was also a knowing that we would come out on the other side of it. Yeah, I said I would show you. Right? Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. I'll be like, where do my days go? Lie for 5 hours. Sleeping for who knows how long. I forgot I said I'd show you. Excuse me. Is it sorrow? I think it's sorrow. Hello? Am I missing a card? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Awareness. Remember how that Six of Pentacles was like the balance of attention and awareness with that Queen of Cups? It's next to awareness, and it is the Nine of the Mind. Um, we saw the Nine of Swords in the title card at the very beginning. So in sorrow, they don't see like the exit to this sort of mental prison labyrinth that they're stuck in. But in the Herald of the Flame, it's like they do. It's like right there. And again, it's kind of sort of the difference of do we stay there or do we continue on? In a way, we decide where our story ends. And even if we don't control the pen, and sometimes by stopping, we control the overall narrative because we don't give ourselves sometimes the opportunity to experience anything new or different or better. Anyway, completion and awareness flank that sorrow card. And again, it's like it being this piece that was there from the very beginning. See, I feel like what's interesting, like with this completion, it looks like the puzzle of you is already complete. Like it looks like this extra piece almost, right? But then again, there was this reference to something that exists even beyond the soul, or even beyond the spirit. There was a reference to something that exists even beyond the spirit. And maybe this sorrow, it's almost like even if the thing itself is gone, because the Queen of Cups is pre High Priestess, there could be a feeling. She's giving almost like that Heraeth energy. It's a longing for a home that you've never known. It's a knowing of something that you've never experienced, that you have yet to experience. And so this is almost sort of wallowing in the lack of the thing. I don't know if wallowing is necessarily the right word. Well, that's a bit anti. Well, because that was a page on that zero. When we saw the page and the other one, every single card in that row we looked at because the page brought the message. So all of these messages, and again, I love that the angel, archangel of the mysteries angel who illuminates the shadow is here. I love that we saw the awaken the brilliance because there was sort of that like once you sort of get this, it recontextualizes everything. Because I've already sort of set and honored that convention, we are going to abide by it now. So, all of these, now that we've revealed the stronghold of the Grail, we shall also see this sort of missing piece that's been here the whole time. In the second row, it was the Father of Cups, which is the Black Swan. From the Astral Matrix, it's Judgment, which is the rebirth of the Phoenix. And finally, from the SKT third edition, it's the quester that holds that universal Mercury. She's giving Charon, Psychopomp, but instead of ferrying to the underworld, it's like ferrying up from the underworld. Even like the Black Swan, but because we see the Phoenix, it's rebirth. It's not resurrection. There's a difference between rebirth and resurrection. And there's a big old full moon in the sky instead of the sun. Super moon, too. See, this is also, excuse me. I almost wanted to say it's also like a sort of magician in training energy. Like someone's being prepared to inherit question mark the role or position of the magician. Because we see the sword, the cup, the pentacle, and the ace, or the sword, the cup, the pentacle, and the wand, sort of all being presented. So maybe that's the thing too with this three of swords and the two of wands, because the three of swords seeks to resurrect something that has already passed or been lost. When it's almost like there's this cross, like the Father of Cups is on its way to the underworld and something else is being ferried out. Maybe it's that universal Mercury. Something is to be reborn in you, basically. Or something is to be reborn in Isis or in the child of Isis. Right. So for example, if Isis was pregnant by Osiris before Osiris went missing, and if those are the parts of Osiris and not some seeky secret whatever. Did I say seeky or sneaky? Sneaky secret whatever. It's like the child that is born to Isis, sired, fathered by Osiris, inherits whatever Osiris sort of stood for. It's reborn through the child instead of resurrected in the father. Type energy. Right. So, for example, again, with the recent fruit in the basket, low hanging fruit, with the connection that's been severed or whatever, right? Maybe someone wasn't their best self in a past connection. Maybe somebody was in a situation that was sort of challenging, and then where they were and who they were with kind of sort of brought out the worst in each other, or maybe they were just young or under a lot of, for whatever reason. Neither one of them was necessarily their best self with the other. And maybe now that life has calmed down or changed or whatever, maybe someone's had their own sort of epiphany and self-awareness and done their shadow work or work through whatever they need to work through. They like they have this inkling to like revisit something or to rekindle something because now they're better and they believe that they could be better together. But maybe instead of rekindling an old uh, connection relationship, it's to just be that better with somebody new, right? Instead of like having regrets about the past and living in regret, it's like taking the lessons and all the growth and the healing that's happened and just applying it to the future. Type energy. Right. So that's why if they say if you lose a tooth to keep it in a jar of milk or something, because you don't want the tooth to start to like rot and decay and then put it back in your mouth, because then you're putting decay and rot in your mouth and it's going to spread to the rest of your body. But if you can preserve it, and I'm looking at the corruptor again as I say that, so cool. All right. Was this the free will? Maybe. We didn't see one wheel of fortune. That's fine. Oops. Yeah, I'm not gonna reveal the rest of these because they were essentially placeholders. I mean, they're all placeholder holders until something else sort of deems them as significant, right? Oh, there's another one. Almost forgot that. Cool. But it does low key read like, again, it's almost like there was a knowing of something happening, but the seeds of a solution were planted from the very start. And so it's like page by page, more and more aces, more and more of those tools, instruments, implements have been collected so that when the thing happens after someone's recovered, because again, there was the convalescing, right? They'll be able to like, they'll have what they need to step forward in whatever ways for them to step forward and to continue on. Why not to carry on my way, son? You are done. No, don't you cry no more. I obviously do not own the rights to that. Is this all the cards? Should be 9 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Cool. Oh, man. I forgot one. Lay your weary head to rest. All right. Yeah, all right. I wish I could rewatch Bob's Burgers. There's so much of Bob's Burgers I haven't seen. Oh, goodness. So, 3 of Swords at the cut with the 10 of Cups. Nine of Cups at the cut with the 10 of Cups. What I love about the Astro Matrix Tarot the most is like how well it shuffles. I'm not the best shuffler. The Magician and the 9 of Cups. I feel like at the top of the bridge, things get kind of wonky. You see that? Then it gets kind of, maybe I don't put enough, I don't know, arch in it. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. No, it's just in my head. I forgot to put the Archangel of Mysteries back in the SKT Revelations edition. And I don't know. Okay. And it's all, again, it's interesting that the last page out was the first on the table. But we didn't see it while the, honestly, read this protection. That Queen of Cups was protecting us from something. Before we had the capacity to understand, we were kept in the dark. And again, it's less necessarily like intentional. Well, it's intentional, less malicious, more like we wouldn't have had the, you know, the wherewithal to handle the truth of something or to see something for what it was at the time, or even if we had known it was sort of like coming, right? Now just the two of us is in my head. How we go from Carry On My Wayward Son to just the two of us? We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Oh, okay, can I get the cards together, please? All right, I may just flip the card on the top of all these as the final cards. I think that's what I'll do. And I will timestamp that. Everything in the middle is the meat in between. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Don't you cry. Man, come on. It's in my head. Maybe that's the point. The wayward son, the man holding a heart. I guess, yeah. Okay. So the wayward son, the man holding a heart, because that was the thing with the man holding the heart, right? With that kanafa. There was someone who had gone through an experience that was meant to mature them. And the mother wished that her kind hearted, gentle boy could stay kind as a man. And in the story, the father wanted his son to toughen up and to fit the mold because that's what we all do as men. But maybe the father too was like, or maybe the father was more like, of course I want the same, but being a man is just not. Uh, it's like it would make life even more challenging to try to remain soft or to remain soft rather than to just harden up. But the man holding heart, he stayed true to himself. Maybe again, even he had his time of convalescing, of coming to terms with himself and just learning that he could be who he is. Wow, the two eyes of the divine. The high priestess and the erudite. The priestess and the erudite. The high priestess and the hermit. That is crazy. Don't you cry no more. All right. Let's get a clean flip or a clean fall. Oh, timestamp. almost 3 hours. No. No. Oh no. Oh no. 2:52. 30, 2:52:25. I love that I can see the time now. Are we getting a clean flip or clean fall, or are we just gonna pull the time? We'll just pull the time. It's fine. Oh, look, the Two of Swords, the Blind Seer. Is this the last one? We saw the Two of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles. So the minor wheel, and also again we see that Eye of God, sort of, or a depiction of the eye, because the eye they're on the High Priestess and the Hermit, the Priestess and the Erudite, in the Major Arcana. Maybe this is just within the gaze of the dominion of that eye. I don't know. Anyway, also here you don't see it, but in the Revelations edition, this card has that tower on it, the divine tower that was at the bottom left of the full color Revelations corruptor, and it was that illumination that provided the proper way to do something. See, but this was the deliberation, this was the idea, this was the thought, right? Before you start looking at real world applications and how it would impact you at the Two of Pentacles. And the presence of the Eye of the Divine here means like it's a divinely inspired thought. Again, like just like the seeds were sort of planted at the beginning, so too were you put on whatever path. And again, it's like sort of with the water, right? Plugging holes that don't need to be left open so that the water can get where it needs to go. Like if you have a hose full of holes, you're going to lose water at every sort of pass. And if what you need to water is way down here, and this is sufficiently, moist from proximity to the water or whatever, you plug the holes down here so that the water can make it down here or up here. You plug the holes up here. upstream so that the water can make it down here or down there downstream. So that's it's like you're maybe asking questions. And it's fine. We don't have to go there. Put on a path to which maybe you're not given all the information. Can you trust that? And can you learn and grow and heal and continue to walk that path? Because everything you need to overcome your biggest obstacle and hurdle on that path, you will find along that path. Interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Lovers. I didn't show you this card. That's the fruit there. So here's the, two through, well, one through nine. There's number 10, Malkud. This is the fruit at the feet of the champion. So again, you were placed on this journey. The seeds of victory were planted at the very beginning. It's like it was known that you would become something or someone, but that at first interaction, you would still be in the process of growing. Right? I totally forgot to look at that. I'll show you real quick. Because I remembered and then I forgot. We're looking for the champion. The fruit at the feet of the champion. There. That's the same as this one here. Also, here we see the Lovers free. We've only seen them bound by that devil energy. And so it's like maybe there's a part where you're like actively exerting self-control. But there's going to be a point where it becomes like where your second nature becomes your new first nature. To the point where like you're not even going to again, there's something that the body knows. And so it's like phasing out certain cravings or the ego is like less self-sabotaging at that point. And then it's like there's going to come a point in time where maybe it's like at that point the mind catches up because the mind still it's like in that point where the mind is aware of both, right? The body has acclimated and adjusted, but the mind is still a little not necessarily it's like the de-escalation of a hypervigilance, right? At first you're like looking for it, now you know the signs, you're like, and then the more you experience of something else, the more you can be like, okay. And the more you can just sort of sit in that if I need it, it's there, but I don't anticipate needing it. So, and then you're just like in the more relaxed sort of, state type of energy. Or maybe you do, like maybe you catch glimpses of a thing, but you don't understand the how or the when, the where, the why. Right? You catch a glimpse, your intuition discernment pings you to like things are gonna be better, things are gonna change, things are gonna be different. But then you're like, maybe at first you're like excited and you're like, then maybe over time you don't necessarily get jaded, but it's just like, after it hasn't happened for a minute, you're like, okay, well, you don't necessarily know. And then one day, all of a sudden, everything has changed. Daughter of Swords and Judgment. Page of Swords again. Judgment. The descending dove that we saw in that sun card. Two were ascending, two were descending, right? All right. Oh, I said I was going to just pull off the top. We have a Six of Swords again. With all these swords left in the rain, under the rainbow, the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. 6-6. With the Two of Pentacles, again, the butterfly behind the Lovers. It's giving like water off a duck's back. It's giving water under the bridge. Because this is what we see, right? But this is where they are. Like they're so high above this rain and rainbow. It's like they don't even see the swords. It kind of sort of like just blends in into all that down there. Right. So that with the Two of Pentacles, because and then there's the Father of Cups. Father of Cups, Two of Pentacles, the black swan, now we see the geese. It's giving because again, the Two of Pentacles is that deliberation. And like how is this gonna impact me in my everyday life and those around me? But especially coming off of that Two of Swords, it's almost like depending on where we are and what we've experienced, we can lean a little heavier on one side or the other based off of what we've experienced up to that point and how much. Because that's all the information we would necessarily have to try to predict like real world, real life impacts. Right. And so maybe it's something that we leave open. I don't know if there's anything that we've seen that has necessarily been like, you have to have an answer right now. Right. So as you experience more and more and different and better and maybe even worse, you just, it's like you continue to collect data and information. As you're allowing your intuition to be validated, and as you're experiencing Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, see where we saw the Page of Pentacles before with this Two of Pentacles, it is that Ace. Cool, love it. We just saw the Two of Pentacles, didn't we? Yeah, on the butterfly. Yeah, but I wonder if sometimes we have to also give ourselves permission to grow and change as we allow ourselves to experience different things. So too must we be open to different experiences. All right. And a cut. Bottom of the deck. First it was the Lovers. Now we see that devil energy again. Why? Top of the deck is the King of Swords. And this king ain't playing no games. I love that like the fog is dissipating. Also, in the previous row, we saw the Ace of Swords in the body, right? It's like this king has that Ace of Swords. The fog is dissipating. It knows where to cut. Now, this liberation may be key for, oh my gosh, we saw the Three of Wands before, right? Back to the devil looking towards the lovers where they're free. We just saw the lovers. So I'm looking at the clouds at the feet of this King of Swords, right? The fog that's dissipating. And then the clouds at the bottom of this angel. And it's like, that is the body of the angel, question mark? We just saw the Ace of Pentacles, right? With the hand coming out of the clouds. We also see the butterfly, Emperor Butterfly. We see the butterfly on, around him. Usually, I've only noticed it or noticed it more so with the queen, but it's with the king here too. Um, I would say this would almost be a point where maybe the soul kind of sort of like steps in a little bit, steps forward a little bit, where it's one of those times and moments where we experience like the divine moving, like, oh my gosh, like that was God, that was the divine, that was, type energy. Excuse me. But I would say it's something that's done in conjunction or in response to something that we do, because it's like it's meant to be empowering. It's meant to be almost in a way reflective of what the spirit couldn't do in the body before, or in the place. It's like in the place that's reserved for the spirit within the body. And it feels like this is something that's done that allows the spirit to firmly rest within the body to bring forward aspects of the soul. And it's like when that sword, not only when the sword is picked up, but when the crown is put on someone's head as well. She is giving, okay. So in the Archangel Commander, the Angel of Storms and Battles, there's a point where like there's the whole sword thing, right? We use our sword. We're taught to use our sword. This is someone that sits on their throne, wielding their sword with the butterfly motif, meaning that they have been changed. They have freely broken out of their chrysalis. They've emerged as a butterfly, and now they have the power, authority, capability to make things move and shift in their life, or to encourage things to move and shift in their life through a divine plea, right? It's like to hold the sword, wear the crown, sit on the throne, and have gone through this transformation, and for the fog to be departing. With again, it's like with when we first saw the Three of Swords, the bereaved, and the stronghold of the winds. When it was like, hold up, girl, that's not Osiris you didn't collected the pieces of. You it's like in that emotional sort of like turmoil that can be the breeding ground for that kind of confusion when we're doing something big and drastic, or like if you're really putting yourself out there for somebody that don't even too much care about you besides either your body or how fat that wallet is, or how they can take advantage of you. It's like the fog has dissipated here where we saw that corrupting influence. It is no more. There's a clarity there. that would allow for someone to clearly and cleanly sever these chains without mutilating parts of themselves, right? Sometimes it's like we do go through these whatever, but it's like we have to mutilate ourselves mentally, emotionally, maybe even spiritually to do it. Maybe we have to dumb ourselves down, or we have to adopt a lifestyle that not only do we not like, but that's also like not good for us. Or we have to sacrifice a sort of like peace or happiness, or we have to hurt our own hearts in some way to maybe try to appease someone else. We have to hurt ourselves in order to whatever. But in this, again, having the clarity to liberate oneself, all parts of oneself, and to not try to fit someone else's mold. Again, that devil mirrors the Hierophant. And a Hierophant that can control you more often than not is the Hierophant that loves you the most. Whoever get them tithes and your buttonless seat in the pew. Anyway. And the Two of Cups. Abyssus, Abyssum, and Woka. The depths of you reach out to the depths of me. Two of Cups with the corruptor, but this time, again, with the axe of Shiva, that removes corruption. The corruption is removed, and there's this from the depths, from the wellspring communication. Again, wellspring, soul, you go so far inside, you reemerge outside. The interface between the one and the all. We got a Herald of the Earth, of the Deepening, Dedication of the Adept, Dedication, and the Three of Orbs, the Mason. Interesting. This is especially coming off of that Devil Hierophant. Ex nihilo, nihil feet or eight. Is it from nothing? Nothing is born or something like that? I forget what it is. Oh, it's the wheel. I'm like, what? It's a wheel, but like a ship wheel. This completely changes the shape. Or does it? Is she giving a pyramid? I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the dollar bill with the eye on the top of the pyramid, the E pluribus unum or whatever. I'm like, really? Because, like, right, we had this upper pointing triangle with these arranged in a downward pointing triangle, but then there's another orb that, is revealed here in the fog. And under that is the dark horse, which is, and in this version, you can see that divine backing, that expression of the soul, the whatever. And again, from this cleared fog, this clearing in the fog, it's giving, again, that King of Swords with the lovers, with that angel, made of this cloud stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, how would this orb interact with these three? And it was almost like, well, it would sit sort of above it. So it would create a pyramid. But also, in the Two of Swords we just saw, and with the High Priestess and the Hermit, we saw those two eyes of God. So then it was like eye, pyramid. I was like, really? With the Mason. I'm like, really? Under that is Ace of Scepters, the Awakening, with the Priestess, Sanctuary of Isis. But in this version of the Priestess, we don't see that eye. We do see Isis up there. Sanctuary of Isis. Okay. Um. mm, What is the message? Bottom of the deck now is the Eminence, which again are figure in the clouds. Oh, she's really focused up close. The cards that came out, we have the Archangel of Mysteries and the Haunt. Literally, both of these cards. Angel who illuminates the shadow with the Nine of Swords. But this time, in the Nine of Swords, we see the Angel who illuminates the shadow, which also looks suspiciously familiar. She dyed her hair. She's like, they'll never know it's me. I'm going undercover, put on a blonde wig. Okay. Same face, same clothes, same everything else. I mean, hey, maybe they could be different people. See, and I love this illumination here. Especially, yeah. Okay. Is this like a messenger? Wait. Okay. Take it as it resonates. The tank is nearly on E. And there are other things I needed to do tonight. It's like, what time is it? It's 10:49. That's fine. Oh, goodness. I am going to get a final one of these since I haven't. Completion and going with the flow. That flow looks like it's going upriver, upstream. All right. Ooh, I will get a clean flipper, clean fall here. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, projection, 7 of water, and the Fool came out face down. Oh, look, the white rose. The one that was in the mouth of the lion. Bottom of the deck is intensity. Whoa. Which is like the Knight of Wands, I believe. Or in the space of the Knight of Wands. You see that? Yeah, you can see. Seven of Cups. We've been seeing the Seven of Cups a lot. Now, is this just clarifying when like the Two of Pentacles first came out as a final card, and it was like, sometimes when we're doing our deliberation and we are like doing our pros and cons and how will this affect and impact my life, we do project. I mean, it's an exercise in projecting. How will this thing that I haven't experienced affect me? Or what would this choice mean? In a certain, like, you have to project because it hasn't happened. You know what I mean? Maybe this is just to keep, again, maybe it's just validating, clarifying that remember that a projection is a projection. It's like a best estimate given current knowledge of the past, the present, and predictions of the future with a certain option, opportunity, or choice in mind. How will things change? And maybe again, it plays on when we saw the Page of Pentacles with the Two of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups with that Eight of Cups. It's like just keep in mind that like there are things that we don't know, things that we will never know, and to just like be open to like better, be open to, again, it's like even if you've made a certain choice or decision, if your intuition discernment comes up with a good enough reason, I don't want to say comes up with a good enough reason, but again, like when we saw the Three of Swords and the Two of Wands before all those pages, as we're sort of like we end up, what we condense everything down to. Um, and also the pages are like new. Someone that's made new in mind, body, spirit, and establishes a new soul connection. That's what, like that's the space that someone has to be in to see the thing that they couldn't see before because the body of the spirit was like, no. And then the spirit of the body was just like quiet, absent almost. Um, Again, it was that energy of like, even if a choice was made to remain flexible or open, like to be decisive enough to go down that path and strong enough to keep putting one foot in front of the other, but also open enough that you remember that there's still like more that we do, to like leave room for the divine to come in and to bless you with something more or to make you aware of something that you didn't know before, to either validate and encourage or to, to validate and encourage you to continue on or to pivot. Because at the end of the day, again, a lot of it is projection. And we're not going to know unless we get into something. But I don't know. The outsider, Five of Rainbows. Yeah, maybe it's just like things, and it's a kid, right? Things that we did both of these flip over or come out or what? I don't remember. Excuse me. Things that we wouldn't have known. Certain things that you just like, if a child doesn't have the capacity to understand or break down certain things, you don't tell them until they're ready, right? And maybe we're still like doing a lot of projections as children. We're doing like maybe when we did certain projections and we made certain choices, we were like children in that there were things that we didn't know and things that we didn't even have the capacity to begin to understand. But once we come of age or reach a certain maturity or start asking certain questions, it's almost like, well, maybe when like the question is asked, that's how you know that someone is ready for an answer. Because it's like before that or without that, like they wouldn't even like notice something, right? So it could be the energy of like something that's not. withheld, but it's something that's not like attention is not brought to. And again, it's very much, well, if if they ask, then we'll tell them. But and it's funny that like that's where we are, or that's where we're kind of sort of settling, because again, when we saw, was it the yeah, when we saw the Ivory Shield, the Outlaw, the Page of Cups, and that Six of Pentacles, when it was that energy of like what someone is paying attention to and nurturing, and what their environment is sort of making them aware of. And there's like this attention awareness thing that's happening that sort of prevents the spirit from having a seat in the body. Maybe because it's like still trying to figure stuff out. But it's like, well, if someone were to notice, and just like in the Matrix, right? Neo saw the cat do something weird and it glitched before his very eyes, and he was like, whoa. And then he saw the spin boon. He saw the spin boon. He saw the spoon bend. And he was like, whoa. It's like once we sort of like notice certain things and start asking questions, that's like the signal that we're ready to go deeper, maybe. And then it's revealed to us. But also maybe because of that, that's why there's so much distraction. And we start asking questions about stuff that ultimately doesn't necessarily really benefit us or get us anywhere or serve us in any way, besides to have us asking questions and getting answers about things that ultimately don't matter for us. Right. It's like sometimes the environment distracts, but sometimes also the environment tries to, sometimes the environment can be used to bring things to our awareness so that we can give it our attention. Things that we would otherwise be unaware of, right? Like when you're getting signs and symbols and synchronicities that maybe you didn't ask for. And you're like, is the divine trying to tell me something? Should I be asking questions about them? Anyway, all right. Oof, almost 3.5 hours. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to pick all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey will be fine. Thanks, Holly, for stopping by. We got there. We got somewhere. Right? Should I make this the thumbnail? Maybe I will. And people be like, what the freak? Also, okay. So we got 37. 3 plus 7 is 10 in the body, which is a 1. 10 is the wheel. We got, excuse me, 86. 8 plus 6 is 14, which is temperance, which we've been seeing a lot of, which is a 5 in the mind. And then we got a 33 in the spirit. 33 is a master number. You can break it down to a 6. I kind of like the 33 being there because it is just kind of sort of floating. Meaning, anything else besides master numbers numerologically, you break down. So something like things would have to add up to 33 to get 33. Right? 37 is a numerological 1 because it reduces to 10 and then 1. 86 is a numerological 5 because it reduces to 14 and then 5. But 33 without a reduction, you have to sort of like get there. And it doesn't, it's not necessarily an uncompromising part of the spirit. Um, but again, it's just sort of playing into this energy of like, you just got to get there. You got to get to that point where, I don't know, you can meet yourself that deeply and be met by yourself that deeply. Right. I think, and I wonder if that's not weird. I think sometimes we can be of a mind to like really want to get to know ourselves and we introspect and reflect. But I think maybe there too can be, at the very least, a part where like we allow ourselves for us to get to know us, for us to be seen by ourselves. Because it's one thing to ask, like, why do I do this or why am I like this? And it's another thing to sit with the self and be present and aware enough that like we can hear the truth or we can see how things led to whatever, or we can see ourselves. And there's a vulnerability in both. There's a vulnerability both in the asking and a vulnerability both in the awareness and attention and then knowing. Acknowledgement. Where would acknowledgement fit? Awareness, attention, and acknowledgement? I don't know. Anyway, cool. Cool, cool, cool. That was a not completely terrible idea. And again, we just so happened to get um, all unique numbers. So it all broke down besides the three. The three, which was the spirit of the mind. And the that was the outlaw. But it kept going. So I pulled the most recent. So right for this number, right? So in the last five cards, this became a nine there. This became a nine here. This was a zero because it participated in this seven becoming a nine. That three stayed a three the whole time. So that's why I pulled that one. This started as a nine. This became a nine here. This was zero the whole time. This contributed to the one becoming a nine. And that five contributed to the four becoming a nine. So that's why I didn't pick anything here. And so we basically had 99399. And then I revealed what was the zero because, you know, awaken the brilliance. Cool. Anyway, all right. I'll catch you later. I still got so much to do.